This project is going to be about doing checkers. Obviously I've painted it with a white undercoat because yellow doesn't like to go over black. I'm using Flaskitch yellow and I'm going to do a 50-50 mix between Abaddon black and null oil. And then what we're going to do is we can start making some lines first. Depending on the thickness, you might want to add a bit of water as well, because you're trying to dilute it so that way you can get thinner lines. Now, on this particular model, I've decided I want to put the checkers all the way around. I'm going to start off at the top as a way you give basically a cross section first. The easiest way to paint a straight line when using a brush is to draw the line towards your hand, not to try and draw lines up or down and stuff like that. You don't have to be too precise, and you'll find out why as we go through the process. Right, now the next part here, the shape's a bit peculiar, so what we need to do is we can use the circular area to judge, roughly split it central. Now all we have to do is just follow that line through. Like I said, at the moment it's not so important that the lines are perfect, so now we've got that line, we know where that's going to go. Once you've got your basic lines, that gives you an idea if you want to create a square, how far down to go. I've painted all the lines in, so this gives us our idea of where we want the colours to go. And what we have to do now, the same mix of paint, we start blocking these lines up. And the easiest way to do it in this case is, unlike the lines we were doing before, now we're going more of a up and down motion. You want to avoid not too much paint on at a time though, because if you do, when it dries, it'll dry lump, which will mess up the look of the paint. At this point, I've painted all the checkers in. I've put 3 coats of black paint, which is the same mix of black paint as what I used earlier, just to get them all a good solid black. Yellow won't paint straight onto black properly, so with some colours you can just use your lighter colour to apply it straight over onto your black without a problem. But with yellow and red it won't work like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Ushabye bone first. 2 methods of application. One is a fine detail brush, the other one is just using some sponge. So you only need a little bit, and what you really want to do is give it a good wipe afterwards, try and get rid of most of the paint, and then you just want to dab it on. This is why I said earlier at the beginning that it's not that important to make these squares perfect. Right, now we need to leave it to dry. The next stage now is to add the original base colour on the areas where you've marked it with the paintbrush, or the areas where you've done it with the sponge. You obviously can't reapply it with the sponge again because you're not going to get the exact same place twice. But you keep filling it in like this. It might maybe take 2 coats, and now as you can see you've got yellow over the black. Now all the scratches have been painted in. I'm now going to put a wash on it, which will be the shade colour. I'm actually going to use the Griffin sepia because I'm using what's left. I'm going to put quite a heavy load of wash on it so it gives it time to, it takes about 2 hours to dry because it's quite a thick wash. The reason why I'm putting it on at this stage as opposed to putting it on at the stage before applying the black paint is because if I apply the black paint and then put these yellow pieces on afterwards, the yellow of this would end up looking different to the yellow of everywhere else. And my aim is to try and make sure that the yellow is the same colour. You can be quite messy with the stage, you don't have to be too precise. Get it on there everywhere. It would actually make the yellow darker now than what it was before. But if you'd have painted these parts afterwards, the parts that are trying to make it look like where the black paint's been chipped off, end up with is the yellow being one tone, so where the scratch is being lighter, which is what I didn't want. But basically, if you like the video, remember to like, share, and click on the button on the lower right hand side to subscribe.